Okay, I'm gonna tell you when we live. We're going live now, not now. Three, two, one, live. Hi guys. So today I have Thomas, Greg Thomas. And I was like, please don't say Thomas as the first name. Greg today. Welcome, Greg. Greg, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Ingrid. How are you doing today?
I am good as well. Thank you so much. Would you like to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
My name's Greg Thomas. I am an at-risk counselor in a suburb of Dallas in Plano, Texas. I've been here 28 years. Uh, I'm also a high school basketball coach, sponsor for our bowling team, and do whatever is necessary for our students in the Plano Independent School District.
Amazing, Thomas. Thomas, how did you started your journey? So interesting.
Um, Well, the journey started, I would say, in 1993, 94, after I finished college at the University of Arkansas. And I took social work as my minor. Um, and that led to my very first job working with the Boys Ranch here in Texas. And then I went from there and went and worked with Daytop Village, a drug and alcohol treatment, one of the oldest drug and alcohol treatments facilities in the world. Um, and rolled that rank to a senior counselor. And then I left that job after 3 years to work with Collin County as a substance abuse specialist. And then I was hired by the Independent School District in Plano to help run their program on drug and alcohol awareness.
Wow, this is powerful. Yeah. And when did you mention you started writing your book as well?
Well, I wrote my book, which was launched in 2022, and it's a chronicle of my college football career at the University of Arkansas, where I became the first Black starting quarterback. And it just chronicles those 4 years um, of the trials, tribulations, the lessons learned, the highs and lows, and the friendships built. And
Mm,
it was very, very interesting. It's been encouraging. It is a 5-time award-winning uh,
mm,
manuscript. It was not as deep as I should have taken it, but it was deep enough that it brought attention.
yeah.
Uh, my second book is called Hashtag Making Believers, and it's about my high school basketball team. I'm an assistant coach with at Plano East Senior High. We won the state championship a year ago. We were 40-0 in the highest classification in Texas, and I believe we ended up ranked second or third nationally in high school at a public school. So it just depicts the 3-year journey it took those group of young men to achieve the nirvana of Texas high school, the biggest prize ever, and we have a record that may be tied but will never be broken.
Yeah. I mean, can you touch a little bit on the lessons? Because you mentioned the lessons that you learned. What was the most, I don't know, like toughest lessons, and then the ones that actually taught you a lot and who you are, maybe.
Well, the lessons that you learn as a player is
Mm,
somewhat different than you learn as a coach. When you're a player, you're young, you don't really know, you're trying to learn, you're trying to do the best you can, but sometimes those things don't always work. Maturity is the best teacher. And sometimes the only way you get maturity is to be in something longer than you're supposed to. The best lesson I learned is never to give up
mm,
and try to teach that in every aspect. Is never give up, no matter the lows, no matter the highs, no matter the challenge. You just keep doing your best. That doesn't mean you're going to win, but when you're doing your best and you're challenging yourself, you have a better chance to be successful than when you quit and give up. And that goes throughout life.
mm,
Some things that some of our young people don't have to do these days is persevere. They don't have to go through things. It's too easy for them to jump ship, to do something else instead of staying in one place and trying to to learn from it. And that's because we as parents and coaches, we try to make it easier for our kids instead of allowing them to have to go through some of those pitfalls, some of those valleys, because that's where you learn who you really are.
Yeah. So what is the mindset then of the person who have that persistence and never give up? What is that drive?
Just not just it's a different phenomenon, because if everyone could do that, we would be a better place. We have
Yeah.
so many people that succumb to just life. You
Mm,
know, they succumb to people not liking them. They succumb to drugs. They succumb to alcohol. They succumb to physical abuse. Uh, they get on different trails and trains of blaming other people instead of just, hey, let's just tighten up the shoe straps and let's fight through this. And those that learn to fight and persevere are the ones that we eventually put on pedestals. And I'm not talking about a pedestal to where you think you're better than others, but put you in a position where you know who you are and you can help and assist and pull people up with you. Those are the pedestals I'm talking about.
so basically, so all of us can learn that never give up, like stay focused, don't give up. It's like a skill that you can learn. It's like stretching every
Yes,
day.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and, and we can all learn from somebody else.
Mm,
You know, there are 100 ways to skin a cat. There are different folks and different strokes, but you have to find what makes it work for you without trying to get over and abuse and cheat other people. And that's the hard part, is learning to be not just accountable, but to be responsible. And I am responsible for the things I put out there. And when trying to teach young people the same things, that the lessons that I learned, I had to learn the hard way sometimes. Because
mm,
sometimes we're hard headed, and sometimes we have to fall down to get back up. Not many people are willing to fall down. Those that are willing to fall down and they are successful are the ones we read about all the time. It's
mm.
not just luck. Luck happens sometimes. That's the perfect solution. But not everything is lucky. A lot of things are hard work and earned. And we have to find a way to get our young people to believe in hard work again.
Yeah, yeah. Because really, no one sees the hard work that people put in, and then it just this shine comes out, and
Right.
everyone sees, oh,
Right.
look at you. How did this
Yes.
happen?
Well, I read that the other day, where no one sees the trials and the tribulations, the crying, the fall downs, the the hangups, the teary eye. No one really sees that, but they do see the people that's holding up the crown. They do see the one that's standing on top, and they say, "Oh, I can do that." Hey, well, then do it. And
Mhm.
because you're doing it doesn't mean you're going to win, but it's that work ethic that if we can get people to buy back into, that'll help us in so many facets of the world.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, to make people so focused to achieve their goals, how important it is like coaching and accountability?
Let me say it like this. I try to put this to our young people. I'm at a high school that has over 6,000 students. Okay. On our particular campus, we had 3,000 11th and 12th graders. Now we incorporate the other two campuses with the other 1,500, which equals to 6,000. Our basketball program takes about, or is collectively about 45 players. That's 45 out of 6,000. It's like a microcosm of the world. In any field, whatever field you have, the numbers are very, very small. So in order to be one of these 45, there are certain criteria things you have to do. Be a good student, be good
Yeah.
at basketball, be able to adapt, adjust, follow directions. Um, we are with the biggest program on campus, or the biggest high school program, 6,000. We have one of the best athletic programs that really includes only 45.
Mm.
Now, those 45, you have to be able to do multiple things. And so not everyone can be that. On Tuesday and Friday night, everyone wants to be a part of it, but it's the Mondays and the Wednesdays and the Thursdays and Saturday, Sundays that no one does it. And that's why we only have 45 of the 6,000. So it's not easily done, because then you have all these other principles and thought processes and behaviors that we have to find a way to incorporate. And that includes being down, not being able to eat, having to go to school, having to be able to socialize, and get all this stuff geared in the same direction. It is a challenge, and it's a challenge for every walk of life. We just have to find the niche. Ours just having to be basketball.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what motivates you, like, or who, or what motivates you to go and be so focused?
It's, it was something that was instilled in me when I was younger. I have a desire to be good. So in order to be good, you have to work at that. And to work at that, you also have to uh, learn all the other things that can help you become good at whatever you're trying to work at. So if I was a mechanic and I
Mm.
worked on machines, I had to really study and take machines apart and understand how it operates and how to get it lubricated and how to get it to, all these things are put together for a reason. And
Mm.
so when we have a master mechanic or a master builder or you have a master whatever it is, they have taken that time. They've learned, they've been successful, they failed, they worked on it again, and they put their efforts in their craft. This is what we need to teach our young people. And if you want to be good at it, you have to work at it. And when you have to work at it, you have to be focused. You have to really put your mind to trying to be the best student, the best operator, and then the best leader you can be. And once again, I keep saying it falls back into every walk of life. Um, and for some odd reason, we're not really understanding that. We're not really teaching our young. We're not really spending that time. We expect them to know and they don't know. That's us as adults. Uh, we think we have finished products also, and we
Mm.
forget what we were like when we were their age. And so we got to take time, take a step back, smell the roses, and then be willing to put in that effort too.
Yeah, I love that determination in you
Yeah.
and this drive and motivation. And your opinion, like kids now these days and kids when you were a kid, is there a huge difference the way everything, like, I don't know,
Well,
perceived
the
behavior?
diff well, yes and no. The difference is we didn't have social media.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we had to learn from the Britannica. We had to learn from the dictionary. We had to learn from reading. Uh, the young people today have the information highway right in their hand, but they don't learn it.
Yeah.
And so we had to be an apprentice before we could be the teacher. Our young people today just want to be the teacher. They don't want to learn. They don't want to have to sit down and go through that process. It took me a while to understand the word process. I
Mm.
would hear some of our famous coaches that were champions say, enjoy the process, enjoy the process. And I skipped beats, I skipped tools and steps along the way. And then once we became a champion, then all of a sudden it was like, that's what they were talking about. It's not
Mm.
just winning the big game, it's winning the little games every day. It's winning the little things that help them understand what the game is like. And I'm not talking about the game of a game, I'm talking about the game of life. You
Yeah.
know, trying to get them to understand that every day is not going to be your best day, but you can't quit.
Yeah.
Now everybody's not your friend, they're your acquaintance.
Mm.
There is a difference that everyone that says I love you don't really, really love you. And you may hear it, it may be given to you monetarily, it may be given to you through other earthly things, but it's not the real thing what we seek in love. So trying to teach the young guys this and the young students, it's a challenge because not everyone comes from the same background. Not everyone comes from the same belief system. And that's been the hardest thing to help share and try to be an example to, is that, there are times I blow a gasket and I got to step back. And I have to also go back and apologize and say, hey, I was wrong. It's hard for us men to say we're wrong or we don't have the answer or um, my bad. It's hard for men to do that also. I'm not saying it's not for women, but from a man perspective, and you're
Okay.
working with young men, it's hard to, you have to teach
Yeah.
them that also. And raise your hand and say, hey, fellas, today was a bad day. I had a bad day. I'll have a better day tomorrow. And then get them to believe in that same thought process. So when they have a bad day, we got to work through it and help those young people do that. That's been the biggest challenge. I didn't have that as a youth. I had a dad. I had
Yeah.
a great dad. But my great dad did not communicate the way that I try to communicate with my kid or my children. And so I had to learn to take the good that he did and apply it. And then the things that I didn't like, try to make sure I minimized it. As a coach, I had the same principles. I've
Mm.
had some great coaches. Um, the good that they provide, I needed to take that. The bad that they demonstrated, I needed to try to find a way to excommunicate, get
Yeah.
that joke out of the way so it doesn't hinder
Yeah.
whatever lessons we're trying to learn. And that's been a part of my entire life.
Yeah.
Is learning from my dad, learning from the mentors I had in front of me, and paying it forward, giving what they gave me, and I try to give that back to our community.
Mm. What is the most challenging thing for you being as a coach?
That not every team is going to be as good as the other team, and you try not to compare. You try to find out what they do best, and then get them to excel at that, and then teach something else. Whenever we compare, we minimize the success rate, and that's hard when you've been successful. And there were times here about 6 or 7 years ago we weren't winning, and we heard it. We heard it from parents, we heard it from staff, we heard it from community people, heard it from young folks, and we earned that because we weren't very good. But then we had to refocus as a staff on what we had. And then once we figured out that formula, and then we had a group of young people that bought in, it changed. And that change has been what everyone strives for, because you're not going to have the same talent every year. You're not going to have the same uh, effort. You're not going to have the same motivation. And you have to find a way to collectively pull together 13 or 14 young people with 4 different coaching thought processes into one ball and make it work to the best of your ability. It took a while,
Yeah.
but after you see it and you're a part of something like that, well, you want to get back there because it is a beautiful thing, and I'm loving writing about it because I would like everyone in general to experience it, but I'm also selfish because of the joy that it brought. Um, Still competitive. I want to be competitive as much as possible, but it's nothing like you know achieving that. And once
Mm.
you achieve it, then you want to be able to do it again. You want to do it again. If you do it once, you're okay.
Yeah.
If you can do it the second time, people think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out a way to get to that second time before you know it's over, because you can't maintain that kind of level forever.
Mm. It's amazing. And about it, where is the second book where you talk about that experience of your coaching experience?
I am going to let that come out here in the next 2 weeks. I'm still trying to decide. on who's going to publish the book or if I'm going to self-publish it. So that's my next agenda. I'm 2 chapters away from finishing up. But you can go to gregthomasconnect.com. That's my website. The title of the next book will be, like I said, hashtag Making Believers. The title of the first book was No Doubting Thomas, Hawk Whisperer, My Arkansas Experience. And it's just about my growth through college and my growth as a coach and seeing those adventures play out. The next book will be on my father's high school team in 1950. And I'm going to tell that story because those gentlemen haven't received what I think is a fitting reward to their accomplishment, not only in the community of San Angelo, Texas, where I'm from, but as Black men in the 1950s. So that's going to be the next challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm telling you, everyone that's out there, when you have a passion, follow it. I have been so blessed, and God has been so good to me that he's protected and given me avenues to give back. And this is going to be my latest avenue, is sitting down and trying to bring some of these thought processes, these book things to life. And that's been cool. It's been the best blessing ever.
Wow, this is amazing. And how do you find it, like the writing of like it's so much effort. Do you find it easy to
No, it's difficult. It's finding time.
mm,
My beautiful wife allows me a couple hours every day, to come sit down. Um, but that's another one of the blessings God has given me. Is giving me a beautiful wife that knows uh, that there are some things that I would like to do, as well as her teaching. She is a great teacher, and she puts as much energy in her craft as I'm trying to find a second craft. And I don't work as hard as she does. She has eighth graders, and she takes care of those eighth graders, and they learn. And she has a skill set that I'm still learning to adjust. I'm very good at being disciplined. I'm very good at being um, fixated. I'm not tunnel vision, but I can focus in pretty good. I can get things into a perspective and work on it. But I don't teach the way she can teach. She is beautiful in how she teaches. And, you know, collectively, us together, we the zig and the zag, we
really?
work that. So Rebecca is the best thing to happen to me in the last 20 years. And I thank God every day for it.
Oh, it's beautiful, Greg. Yeah, it is beautiful. Anything that you could give to this community in terms of to have that drive, determination, go and achieve that next level. Maybe you do something, maybe you have routines which to you looks normal, but maybe for me or someone else is like, ah, that's something I could do and incorporate into my routine. Anything like this exists in it?
Well, oh, everything, anything that motivates you. I
Oh,
read all the time. Um, but I also challenge myself to things I can't do very well. I'm not going to tell you what I can't do well, but I challenge myself every day to do mind games, to be active around the house. Um, at school, try to find out whatever's going on with those students that's holding them back, and try to impart positive things. And that's hard too, because as a youth, it wasn't that you couldn't tell me, but I was gonna try to outwork you, and I believed in outworking people. And so in trying to work with young people that don't have much motivation, that's the challenge. How can I keep this individual in the classroom?
yeah.
If I can get them to come to school, how can I help challenge the teachers to keep them in the classroom? See, these are the things that I get a chance to work with on a daily basis. How can I keep this young man from leaving every class every day and not complete half his task? and then try to find a way to work with them. Hey, man, let me talk to you. What's going on? Today, let's try to stay in the classroom all period. Let's try to do whatever the syllabus has or whatever the teacher put on the board. Let's try to get half of this done. Report back to me, at lunchtime, and try to find a way to motivate them, because that's the future. That's the goal, is to get those individuals to become accountable and work toward their future, instead of us allowing them to underachieve, and then in some form or fashion we'll have to pay for it on the back end.
Yeah.
That's the fear. And it's the reality. Because we have a lot of people that are quitting, but I think people quit when I was in high school. I think a lot of people quit back then. We just didn't look at it. We didn't appreciate it, and we didn't work on it. We just let them do it. And once upon a time, you could join the service when you didn't finish school. They're not taking people that aren't high school graduates anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's a different challenge. We just got to figure out what holes and what things we have to do to not reinvent the wheel, but to amend them, to fix some of these things that have some potholes and breaks, etc. And that's the challenge, because I'm not real sure the leadership we have is looking at that. We're trying to fight over other stuff that really doesn't matter.
Love it. Just before we're gonna go, I always like to ask one question.
I'm ready.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So when I say these words, next level or next level transformation, what comes first to your mind?
Students.
Students.
That's the next level.
Love it. Yeah.
That is it. It's the students. How do we keep our students involved? They are the priority. If we don't challenge them, who will?
Exactly.
That's the future. It's not us as grown folks, as old folks. We've lived. How do we get the young people to believe in themselves and to go out to be the best person they can be?
That is the next level. Love it. Thank you so much, Greg. And just before we're gonna go, is there any final thoughts, words that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, well, just thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share. That's number one. Number two, check out my website, gregthomasconnect.com. And if it moves you a little bit, No Doubting Thomas, Hawk Whisperer, that's my book. Go out. I take that, whatever comes in, and I apply it back to the community and to our schools. I don't have a charity, but I have a charitable heart.
No.
We do different things with the money. But I promise you, No Doubting Thomas is a challenge. It was a challenge for me. It's a challenge to look at the world. We'll do something with that. Hashtag Making Believers is going to be 10 times better. I can promise you it's more detailed. It's a story of 14 players over a 3-year period doing what no one else in the state of Texas has done. And that's going to be cool. And then, the 9th and Randolph, the future book, is on what 28 young men did in 1950 and how they helped shape not only a community, but the personal lives and families. And that's my way of giving back to those that gave to me.
Beautiful. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, Greg. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And Greg, you absolutely very welcome to post your links in the comments when we finish this live.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.